Let's just do a quick sound check before I announce the stream on social media. Let's just do a quick sound check before I announce the stream on social media. Yeah, that sounds like that's working fine. Okay, just going to push a couple of announcements to social media and then I will be right with you. That'll do. Okay, so before I go on, let's address the elephant in the room. Where have my live streams been? I apologise for this. Some of you may know that if you've been following us on social media, some of you will know that I've just had my first child. Well, my wife and I have had our first child, and she's 2 weeks old now. So it's been an interesting couple of weeks. I had a couple of weeks off after the birth to get into the new routine of things and such. But yeah, so there's that and just general things getting on top of me. But I'm here now. Also, what I've been working on in recent days, anyone who's been following will know, is saving for free play mode. That's getting there. It isn't finished yet. All the creatures and their points and things and the food, all that saves. Landmark wise, every landmark saves and restores correctly, apart from the aphid farms. I'm part way through doing the aphid farms, but you won't believe how complicated that's been. Several days of work have just gone into trying to save the aphid farms. It's because of the way they operate. They've got lots of things talking to other things in the level, and because there's all these interactions going on between them, and when you save, everything gets destroyed, and when you load, everything gets remade. So getting them with the correct references together has been difficult for the aphid farms, but I'm close with the aphid farms. The saving of so after that, the only thing that needs saving, I think, is the free play mode itself. So the current difficulty it's on, whether it's in a ramp or not, the creatures it spawned, that sort of thing. That's not going to be as bad as the aphid farms, although it's still going to be a little bit tricky. So there's that, and then that'll be ready for testing, and then once that's tested, we will be ready to officially release the first build of free play. Hello, good to have you with us, Raving Canine. Barking Canine, maybe. So yeah, that's how free play mode's going. I'm not going to stream working on saving because it's not particularly visually interesting. To be fair, what I'm doing today might not be, but at least you might be able to follow it a bit better. The saving stuff is very... a lot of it is just me sitting here thinking, trying to figure out how you'd save objects of certain types. So yeah, today I'm going to be having a look at the first kind of groundwork stages of the leafcutter AI. So with that in mind, leafcutters are going to operate slightly operate slightly differently to other colonies, and also we're bringing in other mechanics that will help with leafcutters, but will also come into play in the current colonies as well. So with that in mind, let's have a quick look at what's going on. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to want to do, I'll show you this in the engine. So there's these on a tile here. There's a that's height. That's data for Liam's AI. I'll go through actually in a bit. I'll go through what the others have been pushing. I'll have a quick look at the commits on the source control, and I'll let you know what they've been working on. So yeah, a tile has a function. So when you build something on the tile, it builds. It changes the tile's function, and that's going to be our first point of entry, is to add functions to that for the leaf cutters. As I go through, I'm going to try and do them all at the same time, because what are your first thoughts seeing this? What was your first thought seeing this software? Oh, you mean Unreal Engine? I think any game development software is a bit overwhelming to start with. To be fair, I started game development trying to work with an engine we created ourselves. So actually coming into a visual engine like this was quite a lot simpler than trying to visualize it all in code. It is and it isn't. As with anything in life, it's complicated if you let yourself be overwhelmed with it. What you really need to do is break things down into individual things. Just focus on one thing at a time, and you'll learn that, and then you'll learn another thing, and before you know it, it all makes sense. I mean, I now know what everything on the screen is, and within a couple of years of working with a piece of software, you end up very familiar with all its ins and outs. I think the key to anything like this is don't allow yourself to be overwhelmed, and just take on tasks, small sections at a time. It's quite warm in here, so I'm going to open the window. Right. Okay. So, without further ado, I'm gonna this tile function here. I'm going to bring it up in Visual Studio. So, and I'm going to check that out. What's it called? etilefunction.h. Just going to check that out so I can edit it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to add in the leaf cutter tile functions. Okay, so leaf cutters are going to they're going to have 3 different types of unit in the basic leaf cutter colony. So there's going to be, I have my cheat sheet on the other page. Okay, so there's minims, minors, midis, and majors. I know that's 4, but one of them isn't one you build. So the minims isn't one you build; they just come with the colony, and I'll explain what they do as time goes on. Like I said, with the leaf cutters, they're going to be slightly more complicated than the current ant species we've had in the game. So there's going to be a stage or 2 in between different things. I don't know if some of you might know a bit about leaf cutters, and I'll go into what they are in real life and how we've translated their real life existence into our game mechanics. Okay, so I don't need minims because you're never going to build them. They will be in your colony, but you don't build them. So there's oh dear, sorry. Leafcutter minor brood chamber. Leafcutter midi brood chamber. Leafcutter major brood chamber. So a lot of today is actually going to be just setting up, so we can start working with the start working with it. I've been trying to code, but I can't remember anything that I learn. Any tips? My advice to those trying to learn to code is to do it with a task in mind. So, for example, if you give yourself a small task to achieve, for example, maybe a small game, just a number guessing game is a good start, and try and program for that. And instead of, follow tutorials to start with, sure, just to get you off the ground. But then after that, try to work without the tutorial and try and figure out a problem and then look up your individual problem. So then that's how I retain stuff, is by solving my own problems. I don't really retain working through tutorials. Hi, how are you? Do you plan to introduce the ants Odontomachus boru? I love this species. Well, I can tell you we don't have any plans at the minute to introduce that species because I don't know much about them. But do enlighten me. I'm always happy to learn more about different ant species. And maybe one day, once we've completed the ant species that we actually have planned in, maybe we'll bring more into the game, depending on the success of the game at that point. So now with those 3 added, I need to look at where these 3 are actually implemented. So I'm going to have a look at the UG tile. So UG tiles are every tile in the game is a UG tile. So if I just flick back to the engine, so every one of these is a UG tile. UG is underground, and that's what this is in Visual Studio. This is a UG tile. The code for one. So what we've got here is there's the tile function, and this is just a default. It's saying by default it's no function. But let's have a quick search for example, let's have a look at the worker, the standard worker. Now, yeah, sorry, I've made a mistake already in that each species only has 1 worker. Where's the thing that I edited? I'm going to close some of these. We've got too much stuff open. Okay, so worker brood chamber represents all workers, and it then checks the species. So we don't actually need. That's why there's no black ant worker or wood ant worker. We don't actually need leafcutter miner because they replace the worker for the leafcutters. Okay, so back to where I was. Okay, so I'm going to have a quick look for example, worker brood chamber. I'm going to find worker brood chamber. No, black ant. Let's do black ant because, like I say, I don't need to change anything for the worker, but I'm going to need to add lots of stuff in for the black ant. So let's have a look. Okay, so determine tile job. So this is, I think this is when you click to build a tile. And what it does is it's looking at the ePlayer tool. So I'm going to have a quick look at what the ePlayer tool is, because as much as it seems to be similar to the eTile function, I don't think it's exactly the same. Okay, so here we've got the player tool. It includes black ant brood chamber, wood ant brood tool. So again, we're going to have to add in a couple of tools here. So the MIDI and the major build tools. So this is the tool that your mouse is doing, right? So if you select to place a call to arms, it activates the call to arms tool. If you select to build a speed tile or upgrade tile, it activates the appropriate one. So we're gonna add in tools for the. There's one other thing I need to add as well into the other thing, and I'm going to do it before I forget. There is actually something else here. What was it called? Let me check our plan. Okay, so leaf drop off. So these are we're slow. As I'm doing this, I'm going to be slowly revealing the mechanics of the leaf cutter. So yeah, they have a specific chamber for dropping leaves off. So food's going to act quite differently to how it acts in the normal ant species in the game. So leaf drop off chamber. And this is when you get back to your formicarium, you'll be able to build a food chamber, and like when you unlock the leaf cutters, you'll be able to build a food chamber and leaf drop-off chambers as well. So we got those. Now we need to get back to the tool. So I need to check this out again from the source control. So ePlayer tool. Not sure where that would be. Interfaces maybe. I don't know why I'm bothering searching for it. I can find out here. It's just in EOTU controls is where it is. A player tool. Okay, I can now edit that. Okay. For some reason food store's the first one here. Interesting. Okay, so similar to what I did with the tile functions, add similar things in here. So wood ant melee brood tool. So leaf cutter MIDI brood tool. Leaf cutter major brood tool. Leaf drop off tool. And we're going to add this metadata as well. All this metadata is it gives us information when we're back into the other side of the when we're in the non-code side of the engine. So leaf cutter MIDI. All that is that with spaces. Great. Really informative. Not deletion. That seems fine to me. Okay, so they're the tools added to. See, I need to actually make this do stuff in a bit, but we're going through this slowly. Okay, so there's no tool. This is where I'm going to want to add it in. So I need to check this out. This is ugtile.cpp. Okay, so what we've got here says black ant, wood ant, soldier. So it's probably here that I want it, really. So there's going to be 3 different ones. There's going to be the one for the MIDI. You've put a MIDI. The one for the major. The MIDI, the major, and the leaf. Okay. Okay, so now I need to give them the appropriate thing. So what are we actually doing? I should probably check that first. Okay, so this is actually to do with building it. So this is determining the tile job. And it just has a look at what the player's tool is, and then tries to do it based on that. So that's if you haven't got a tool, it does the dig job, etc., etc., blah, 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 blah. So here is when it's got, so leaf cutter MIDI. So again, this is the thing we added. So we want a tile function to build to be leaf cutter MIDI brood chamber. That's the one we added earlier. Cost to seek. Okay, so cost to seek, we're going to have to look into that. I'm going to get my book out so I don't forget, because these are things that I'm going to have to update with the thing, but as I'm going through it, it'll help a lot if I can just add notes. So add in the leaf cutter costs. So the costs to seek are just it's a like a database of the, well, it's a spreadsheet, it's a CSV of just the separated costs. So like this ant costs this much food, this ant costs this much food. So I'm gonna write them in now. Write the words down now, but I need to add them in later. I could add them in now, I guess, as I'm encountering it. Leaf cutter MIDI brood chamber. So this is going to be leaf cutter MIDI build. again. Let's put a major build. And leaf drop off build. Leaf drop off chamber. That's right. Okay. So we're getting there with this. That's just adding in individual. So we're slowly adding in the interactions between the tiles and such that we're going to need. This isn't going to be easy. This is going to take a while. Adding in new ant species does take a while. It's no small task. Hopefully, once I'm done with this, everything done with the whole process, everything for the leaf cutters will have placeholders, and our artist can then go through all these placeholders and replace the placeholder art, which I'll use the black ant probably, with the actual model for the leaf cutter, for the various leaf cutter sizes, and such, and the icons and all that jazz. So I need to add the costs in at some point. I might do that in a minute. So I'm guessing cost to seek is actually used just slightly further down. Yeah, so here it's trying to spend resources on it, and it uses the cost to seek to see if you can afford. Else I believe it'll need more food. You don't have enough. Yeah. Right, I will be back in 3 minutes. I'm just going to grab another coffee and nip to the toilet. Burp. sorry about that. I only lost 3 viewers. Right. Okay, so where were we? Okay, so I may as well add in the costs at the minute. Now, we don't actually know the costs yet because that'll be determined during the balancing of the game. However, my feeling about it is that the midis will be worth about a similar amount to the melee ones, and the mages will be worth more because they're a strong unit. They're actually going to take the place of like a tank unit, something that draws fire. So, yeah, what I need to do is... What was it again? So I need to edit the costs. So let me find them. Data. Costs.csv. That's what I need to check out. Okay, so you're not going to be able to see this, but I'm just going to add a couple of costs in. It's not particularly interesting, it's just a CSV of the costs of everything. So there's two new ants. So I need a hatch and a build amount for each. And then there's the one new storage type. So let me just copy and paste from what we just added here. So there's leaf cutter MIDI build. Then there'll be a leaf cutter MIDI hatch as well. Leaf cutter major build. Right, I need to get rid of the word brood in the major. There's no need for that. So I'll do that now whilst I'm thinking about it. And leaf drop off build. Okay, so the midis I'm going to put in is 50 to start with, just because they're the same as the black ants. The midis to hatch, again, same as the black ants. So 5. Leaf cutter major build. Now, I'm going to go with 75, so they're quite expensive. But that means I can give them quite a lot of power as well. So that puts them more expensive than the wood ants. The wood ant fire shooters. Leaf cutter major hatch. I might want to up that, but I'll start with 5 just because everything's at 5 at the minute. Leaf drop off build. I'll put that the same as the food tiles for now. So that's what, 5? Food tile, yeah, 5. Okay. So I've added those into the CSV, and that CSV should be imported as soon as I go back to the game engine. it'll tell me that it's noticed there's been a change in the CSV. Do I want to re-import it? Okay, so we've dealt with that. Okay, so moving further down. This is just debug code. Probably delete that. So that's if the cheat's on. That's checking the pop cap for yeah. Don't need to worry about that at the minute. So there, it's creating a build job. This and the tool. So I'm gonna need to have a look at that. So let's have a nosy at that. Okay, so this is the job manager. This is the thing that dishes out building, digging, all those sort of jobs, upgrade jobs. And it's quite a complicated thing because it's got to prioritize stuff and work out how close things are and all that sort of stuff. But it does all that. But here we have determine what tile type to request in the build job will most likely encapsulate the tool function together in the future to remove this pointless mapping enum. Alright, yeah. So basically there's a mapping exercise here between the player tool and the tile function. That is a bit silly, but there we go. This is the way it's set up for now, so I'm going to have to work with that. So jobmanager.cpp, I need to check that out. Actually, I think it's in the AI. Jobmanager.cpp, yeah, there it is. Okay, so continuing with this pointless mapping exercise, as I so delicately put it, I need to add 3 more in. Player tool. So it's the MIDI. Major. And the leaf drop off. Cool. Okay, so we've now got them coming into here. So it's passing those planned function. So new job, spawn actor absolute, build job. Yeah, it's just a build job, set requisition or requisite priority, blah 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 blah. So planned function, queue job. Okay, so that's it, creating a job for it. That should be fine. going to have a quick look at the requisitioner. Because it was spawning a build job. Okay. Just want to have a quick look. Function to tool. Okay, there's a couple of helper functions here by the look of it. So whilst I'm here, I'm going to add in my version of the helper functions. The other way around. Done something wrong. Yeah, I've done something very wrong. Okay. 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 Okay, so that's the helper functions dealt with. Any other references to... Not in Job Manager. Okay. Okay, so it's passing the control tool in, it's fine. Generic. Oh, I know what this is. These are warnings for the player. Yeah, I'm going to need to add in. I think I can just add in the food drop off one into here as well. So another leaf drop off. Okay, moving down. This is upgrade tiles. However, these will need to be upgraded, so I do need to add stuff. Add one in, add 3 in here. So again, so what have we got? Cost to seek, Black Ant build. No, it's the same as above, so it's okay. So here's the next thing. So there's a maximum upgrade level for things. That's actually determined because in the game you'll remember that that your Formicarium, it has to check whether you purchased the upgrade for it. But so that's what it's doing here. However, I mean, I'm going to need to do this, so I may as well do it now. So there's a thing called F colony data, which is a structure which contains all your upgrades and stuff based on what your army is now. It also determines what's in your army. So this needs quite serious additions. Which I may as well do now. Oops. So this is EOTU player types. Let me just check it out in source control. Game structure. Right. Okay, so I'm going to add them in here. So these are the leaf cutter specific ones. So first, I'm going to need something like this. Okay, so one of the leaf cutters has a variant. That's the major. The other one doesn't. The mini doesn't. Mini doesn't. B. Woodant. So B. And there needs to be one of these for the major as well. Whilst I'm here as well, I'm just going to have a look at the E species. So this is in ETU game types, which is in game structure. Okay, so okay. So just checking there's nothing else I need to edit in here. Just the free play setup. No, it looks like it's alright. Okay, so I've added in the species anyway for when I need it. Okay, so that's that. Right, with the upgrades, I'm still not entirely sure what leafcutter upgrades are going to be available. I will put something in place. So the midis, there's going to be a max level, right? Would Ant tier 1 upgrade. This worker max upgrade level, black ant max upgrade level. So max upgrade level, melee. So these two need to come in to play for just for the major. Let's say the other one doesn't have options and isn't the MIDI's not available in Formicarium either. It's not one of the purchasable ones. It's the major that you can purchase from the leaf cutters. So okay, so so there is going to be 4 upgrades for the majors. However, we're not entirely sure on these yet. So I'll just leave something here. Leaf cutter upgrade 1. Leaf cutter upgrade 2. I will change the names of these when we know them. 3 and 4. I think that's everything I need to do here, other than give everything default. So that stuff, let's give them all default values. think that's, yeah, 3 by default. I think everything's on false by default as well. Okay. Right, back to where we were, which is UG tile, I think. Yeah, okay, so right, these actually don't need the midis actually don't need that because they're not available in the Formicarium. However, the majors do need it. Actually, IntelliSense is still processing something. Leaf drop off doesn't need it either. Okay. Lead cutter. Okay. That's because of IntelliSense. There we are. It's working now. Okay, so this is just the upgrade stuff. That's the cheat stuff. Create upgrade job. Which should be fine, although let's have a quick look. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to pass on what the tool is in this because it already knows because it's an upgrade. The tile already knows what it is. Okay, that's fine. No, not creature.cpp. What am I doing? Okay, let's keep going through. So that's creating an upgrade job. That's alerts about upgrades. You've not purchased. Okay. Shouldn't need to worry about the deletion tool. Okay, right. I've been through the entirety of this function and found it wanting. So I'm just going to have a look for where else Black Ant Broom Chamber's used in here. Okay, so there's something called refund deletion tiles. So this will be where tiles are deleted and the refund that the player gets. Again, I need to add in the 3 different tile types into here. So the MIDI, major, and the leaf drop off. doing? Okay, so that should be fine. That should have sorted the... Find the upgrade cost, find the construction cost. Okay, so these are actually the same at the minute. So actually I should just be able to... This was in case we wanted to make upgrades cost a separate amount to building. We've currently decided against that. We might revisit that at some point, so I will keep it in. No point removing it. Okay, I think that means we've got all references to that. Next is to actually have a look at the tool again, because there's the... Make sure I've got all references to the tool in here. So there's only a couple. I've already got that one. Oh, there's only one. Okay, so I've got all references to the tool in UG Tile as well. So we're looking quite good on that front. Okay, so... So yeah, we need to have a think now about the actual placement of the tiles and... Okay, so there's something called build job, I believe. Not create build job. It's somewhere around here. Get planned function. Decal set material. So decal material equals get build in progress material. Let's follow that. Okay, this is tile function representation. Okay, this is the next area that we're going to have to tackle. Now, what a tile function representation is in the game is it's the thing that's on top of the tile. So you click to build something, an ant goes there, it starts building it, an object appears on it, and that's called its tile function representation. So I'm going to have to check this out. I'm going to check in UG Tile again because I think I'm done with it and Matt seems to want it, so I'm going to submit that. You know what, I'm just going to submit everything that I've done up to this point after I attempt to build it. Give me a mo. I will check out the tile function representation as well. What else do I want to check out? Oh, right, okay. So see this. This is where it decides what, when you click, the decal comes up for to kind of say there's going to be a building here. This is where it decides that. So at the minute, I'm gonna use a couple of these for the other ones. And it's not just that, it's not just the decal as well, the representation has something similar going on. But I'll yeah, that built. Okay, I'm gonna submit everything I've done apart from tile function representation. Okay, so everything's been checked back into the source control at the minute. You have to bear with me whilst we do this. Okay. Okay, so that's all been checked back in. So Matt can have all that stuff. Okay, so I'm going to keep going for another half an hour today on stream. And then I'll continue off stream for a bit. And then hopefully by the time I do another stream, it might be tomorrow. I'll see how I'm feeling. By the time I do the next stream, there should be we should have a lot of this groundwork done, and we should be able to get to visually doing it and coming up with the AI for stuff and that sort of thing. Okay. So again, we're going to have to add in 3 different cases here for the 3 different chambers we've added. So leaf cutter MIDI, leaf cutter major, and the leaf drop off. One sec, guys. 1 second.
Sorry, John. I was going to go out. There's chips. There's no chips. There's only small portion chips. So will you only have you got any confidence with it? I just wanted to know.
Right, I'm back. Okay. So yeah, I was adding them in. So there's the leaf drop off one. Okay, so for now, leaf drop off can be the same as food chamber. Middies can be the same as black ants, and majors can be the same as wood ants. That'll do for now. Majors will be getting their own one because they can be in the Formicarium colony as well. So they'll have their own colour, but the middies will probably just stick as the black ant one, to be honest. Oh no, but these are the decals. These aren't the. Okay, so I'm gonna have a hunt through to see what else is in here. This is create tile function representation. So yeah, this is the this is the actual thing that creates it. So before I do this, world construction black ant chamber _C. Interesting. Looks like a mistake there. The black ant chamber. It's this one that's confusing me. Wood ant brood chamber is coming up as black ant chamber. I'm going to have a nosy in the engine about this. Just give me one mo. I'm going to have a look at what these different chambers are in the blueprints, because each chamber has a blueprint. I'm guessing that the wood ant one is just the same as the black ant one then, but it's just tinted a different colour. Would be my guess. Okay, so give me 1 second. Let me just sort this out. That looks fine. Okay, so I'm having a quick look into where was it actually? It was called World Construction Black Ant Chamber. World Construction. So there's food store chamber, there's black ant chamber. There's worker chamber. It looks to me like there is no such thing as a wood ant chamber, interestingly. We'll have a quick look in the black ant chamber, just to see if it's got any special code with it. I think that constitutes a special code. So this is all the stuff about neighbouring tiles and that sort of thing. So that's actually not that useful. But I think I know what I need to do. I need to make the MIDI and the major the black ant chamber and the let's do that. So these will be the MIDI and the major. So both the black ant chamber and the and this is the drop off, which will then be the food store chamber. Okay, that'll do for now. So I've already done that one. Already done that one. There is only 2 references to it. Check there's no reference to tool. Okay, so that was simpler than I thought it'd be. Right. Let's think. Right, I'm gonna save this and build, and then I'm gonna go into the engine itself rather than the code. Absolutely no doubt there's loads I haven't considered here. Then I'm going to start making placeholders for things like the creatures themselves, so the midis, the majors. And whatnot. The stream's running until past, guys, so 15 more minutes. Hopefully today I can really whiz through some of this. I'm going to have to go back to working on free play saves soon because I want to get that out the way. John test level. Now this might crash. Like John test level might crash just because it might not be set up properly. There may have been changes since last time I used the test level. Crash. Seemed alright. Okay. So so the leaf cutter things I added in are here. So there's the MIDI, the major, and the leaf drop off. It might crash if I set one of these. We'll see. Oh, it seems to have this might have the infinite spawning. Yeah. One of my favourite bugs. Basically, it tells it, because I've got the cheat on to spawn, it tells it to spawn instantly. But because there's nothing in the slot for the midis yet, there's no AND in place, it spawns in nothing and then tries to spawn again immediately. It looks like a lava eruption. Okay, so in order to find the place that spawns the creatures, it's going to be nursery representation, which I believe is just in. Don't actually need to find it. Okay, so here's the spawning of the various creatures. This is the leaf. This is the workers. Etc, etc. So this is where I need to come up with placeholders for things. And to do that, what I need to do create a new folder called leaf cutter. So I'm copying the black ants here. Just giving them names, and then I'll work from there. Just gives me a starting point, so a lot of the setup's already done for them. There's one additional one as well. Which is the minim. So yeah, they're the 3 leaf cutters there. So it's the worker, the small one and the large one. The medium sized one and the large one. Okay, so there's those 3. For now, I'm gonna copy the worker account again. I think it's called a minim. One sec, let me just check my working document. Yeah, minim. So the worker's a minor. The MIDI is the medium sized one, and the major's the massive one. So I want to duplicate this. Leaf cutter. Minim. And they're probably going to have a completely unique AI at the minims. You won't be able to control them. They're not going to appear in the bottom, but they do have quite an important role to fill. And we'll get into the stuff later. Hiya, Maker 010. Oh yeah, boy, it's been so long since the last stream. Greetings. It has, yes. It's been a while. I'm hoping to get back into it. Like I said, I've had a child in the meantime, so it's kind of when you have a child, a lot of areas of your life have to pause for a moment. I had a short amount of time off to get into a new routine and things, but things will hopefully get a bit back to normal now. But yeah, I'm creating at the moment. I'm creating all the placeholders for the leaf cutter ants. Good to see you again. Okay, so I'm also going to need to come up with UI stuff as well, but I'll come up with that as we get there. So what's that? That's just a level blueprint. Don't worry about that. So there we've got Gene Thief, Black Ant, Wood Ant, Leaf Cutter. Gonna need more space for this. Okay, so there's the leaf cutter worker. Additionally, we've got the MIDI and the majors. Okay, so that's the variant for the wood ant. So the majors, yep. Okay, so the variants of the major and provide it with different resistances. So it'll either be more resistant to acid or more resistant to physical damage. So you can tilt your army to be more defensive against one thing or the other. So if we have so the MIDI is just going to be one class, but I'm going to need to the major is going to be 2, so I forgot I need to do this. Major. I'll call it A res and P res, so it's not acid. Damn it. It's venom. We called it venom in the game because acid was ambiguous. Because it could be alkali. So V res, and then we'll have leaf cutter major P res. Ugh. It's crashed. We've had a crash during an autosave. Right, so I was just providing information about the crash. Hopefully that hasn't lost too much. Anyway, it's past now. I said I was going to stream till past, so I'm going to call it there. Sorry you only managed to catch the last 15 minutes of it. Make 010. I'm going to be streaming a bit more now as I get back into the flow of things. So today, hang on. Today we've started to put in place the placeholders for leaf cutter stuff, and what that's going to move on to is once all the placeholders are in place and you can build leaf cutters and that sort of thing using the placeholders, I'll then start working on the AI for the leaf cutters. There's a few changes in the AI that needs to happen. So, and then once that's done, we can do the stats for the leaf cutters, and then and that'll allow the artist to replace all the placeholder stuff with the leafcutter art, and we should have a nice leafcutter army on the go, ready to go into the levels. Now, whilst I'm working on the mechanics of them, I don't mind streaming, but when we get back to working on the levels, I don't want to give anything away whilst developing. So I'll be streaming less at that point, but hopefully at the moment, whilst I'm working on the mechanics, I can stream a bit more. Okay, so thanks very much for joining me. Sorry the streams have been so few at the moment. Like I say, I'm hoping to get back into the habit of at least one a week. Maybe we'll be able to get a few more whilst we're working on the mechanics. So thanks very much, and I will see you next time for more leafcutter goodness. Ta-ra!